Welcome to the Movies to Watch Before You Die podcast. My name is Gab, and I'm here with my cousin and co-host,
Dylan.
And today we are talking about a movie that I have nominated as one to watch before you die. Dylan, the listeners may not know this, but why don't you tell everybody what we're doing on Saturday?
I think we mentioned in the last episode, but they don't know. And we're not doing this like you and me together. But
Oh, yeah. No, not us. We'll both be there.
We will both be there in person. But Gav is getting married to not me, to Corey.
Yes. It is illegal in the state of New York for us to get married as we are first cousins. So don't worry about that. But Dylan will be in attendance at my wedding on Saturday, which is very exciting. And so in honor of my upcoming nuptials, I wanted to choose a movie that was wedding centric. And it was a really interesting process, kind of looking through a bunch of movies that were about weddings or related to weddings. And of course, there was Wedding Crashers, there was My Best Friend's Wedding, there was The Wedding Planner, there was Bridesmaids. And I decided to go with a movie that I have not seen in a very long time. And that is the, dare I say, 2006?
You would be wrong. 2002.
2002 movie, My Big Fat Greek Wedding. Dylan, had you seen this before?
Honestly, I don't think I'd actually probably watched it since the first time I saw it, which was probably around, I would say 2003. We probably rented it from the video store and watched it. I don't know if we saw it in the theater.
I have to tell you, I think the same is true for me. There are definitely a number of lines from this movie that I quote that I don't think I even realized were from this movie. But I believe that this is a movie that I rented from Blockbuster, probably also around 2003, and watched with my friend Nikki, who will also be there on Saturday. And so I think this was my first time like really absorbing the movie.
Nikki, good Greek name.
Yeah, yes. Coincidentally. So lots to say, but why don't we start with Dylan? What is this movie about?
What's this all been about? What am I working toward?
Explain!
As you would a child.
You think you know everything about me, don't you?
I dive at your bottom. I bloody well ought to.
I mean, I feel like the title really tells you what the movie is about.
Well, Dylan, you did ask me this about Jackass, so why don't you answer the question?
I would say that it is about, oh my God, I can't remember her name. I can remember that. Yeah. I was like, it's about Nia. I'm like, no, that's not her character name. Tula, who is resigned to be the old maid of the family, meets someone, is going to get married, and how will her family accept it? I guess is sort of what the movie is about. And how will he accept her family?
Okay. What does IMDb have to say?
It also forgot her name. A young Greek woman falls in love with a non-Greek and struggles to get her family to accept him while she comes to terms with her heritage and cultural identity.
Okay. Do you know any Greek people?
I mean, I've been to diners and Greek restaurants, but no,
Sure.
I can't think of anybody at the top of my head. I'm like, there's that Greek son of a bitch.
Okay. I do know somebody who is like very similar to this whole
Nikki.
situation. Yes, naturally.
Yes.
Okay, so we can talk about that. Hit me with some taglines first.
Okay, so this time, Gab, in our tagline game, you will have 2 fakes and 1 real one, and you will need to pick out the real tagline.
Okay.
Love is here to stay, so is her family. Family is the diadiktiaki to happiness. You can't choose your family.
So there's only one that's real.
Only one of these is real. Would you like me to repeat them?
No, because I know it's the first one.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because the other 2 are so dumb.
You are correct, and also kind of a dick.
Sorry, but I knew it wasn't going to be either of those.
I loved family is that diadiktiaki to happiness.
I knew that right away. I was like, this is fake. He made this up.
I think it could have worked though. It could have worked, but okay.
And that's why you don't write taglines.
Most of the time, I like that one.
Oh God. I guess we can move on. I mean, we don't have to give a lot of background.
It was the
right?
best of times. It was the worst of times. I don't know.
Oh my God.
I'm not very Greek. cultured. Yeah, I'll go with that. So, well, let's get into my big fat opinions.
In this critic's opinion,
that's just like your opinion, man.
Well, I have a right to my opinion, and my opinion is you have no right to your opinion.
So the first thing I would say is, although this is my big fat Greek wedding, the moment you watch this, it works for any family. Like they're talking about the mother and guilt, and I was like, this obviously works for a Jewish family. Like I was like, this works for everyone. I was watching with someone Italian, and they were like, oh my god, this is so like my family too. Like it's universal of family idiosyncrasies.
Yeah, and I think there's like a black sheep kind of situation as well, where Tula kind of wants to break the norms of her family tradition. She's interested in going to school and learning things to have a career and not just work at her family's diner, for the rest of her life. And I think that's relatively relatable too, right? Like if everyone in your family is very traditional and you want to kind of do something a little different, like the difficulties that come along with that.
Yeah. I really like also that as the movie goes on and she's obviously doing something different, marrying outside of the culture, going to college, she inspires her brother to also sort of break out on his own a little bit too, which I thought was really nice.
Yeah.
I did think it's also funny that when he does things, he's just forgiven though, that like, it's fine. He's the boy,
Yeah. Yeah.
I do feel like there is it's almost cliche, but it works in such a nice, like it's like a warm piece of pie that it's like, The line at first that really hit me was, I wish I was braver or prettier or just happy, but it's useless to dream because nothing ever changes. It feels like there's an article below that, like a line below that says, now things are about to change. Like I was like,
yeah,
okay, it was fine. I also think the thing that's really nice about this movie is, I guess you would call it a rom-com still, but the romance almost, I don't want to say it doesn't matter, but there's no drama in the romance at all. And I think that's almost nice that her and Ian just get along perfectly fine and there's never an issue.
Yeah. I think this movie really is about her relationship with her family and her coming to terms with who she is. I think it's about becoming a little bit more accepting of your family, a little bit more accepting of your culture, versus it being about both of those things, right? A romance and also a family. It is truly like the only friction that happens is within the family.
Yeah, I think maybe if there was a more recent version of this that had just come out, that there would be a bigger subplot of drama with his family too, or some drama with him at some point. Yeah. I think I heard her talking about too. She was like, there really isn't much of a subplot. If there is one, it's a very subtle one about her mother and father's relationship and the two of them in the background. And I'm like, yeah, even if there is, it's so minimal. And that's fine. Not every movie needs a strong B plot if the A plot is working.
Yeah. A couple of things I want to say about like points where maybe it felt like there was going to be a B plot and then there wasn't, or at least like other periods of friction. Toward the very end of the movie, Ian's best friend, who he works with, he has a conversation with him where he says like, hey, listen, you can't be my best man, because in order to be my best man, because Ian has now converted to Greek Orthodox, you would need to be Greek. So unfortunately, you can't be my best man. And the best friend is like, oh, that's okay. And then the scene is over.
I think it's really cute, though, the response. Wow, you were going to ask me to be your best man? You don't have a lot of friends. Like, something like that. And you know what? Again, we don't need a B plot of that guy being upset about not being the best. Like, would we care? Ian himself is such a milquetoast character of like, I'm great. You know what I mean? It's like, we don't need more. It works perfectly fine. And that's nothing against John Corbett, who does a great job with what is there. But his role is really to be there and be great, so that it's like, can't everything just be great? You know what I mean? That's why the family stuff needs to work, because it's like, this is already working so well.
Yeah. Who's your favorite character in this film?
I really like the brother, Nick. I also, Andrea Martin as the aunt is fantastic. Like the moment where she's describing the lump on her neck, which turned out to be her twin that had hair and some teeth and a spinal column in the lump on her neck that goes nowhere, is so fucking funny and like works so well to me. I don't know. I think it's got to be her. The dad is great too.
I completely agree. I think it's the aunt. My favorite lines from this movie that I have quoted for 20 years, right? And maybe not even ever realized they were from this movie. I have three of them. The first is, and inside that lump was my twin. The second is, with a very serious face, woe to me. Business is very bad.
I wrote that down too.
So good. And the last one is when she's plucking the chin hairs off of the mother and goes, one more big one, and goes for it.
Another line I really like. Oh my god, I feel bad that I'm not remembering it right now because you got me with "Woe to me, business is bad." Oh, it's when her brother-in-law complains about the Portacales woman always nagging, and Tula just goes, "Oh, my sister's gonna be so mad when I tell her." Like, it just was such a cute moment. I feel like that I remembered, and I remembered put some Windex on it, but there was so much I forgot. Yeah. And Michael Constantine, who plays the dad, which I thought, like, he's so convincing in that performance, and he is Greek, that I was like, is that just what this guy sounds like? And I saw him in an interview, and I didn't realize he'd been acting for decades, but he was just talking normally in the interview, and I was like, wow, he's really acting. Like, I was like, that's incredible.
Wow, he deserved the Oscar for this.
He has an Emmy. He cracked me up, though. One of my favorite moments is when they're talking, he's talking to Ian, and he goes, "You have to ask my permission to date my daughter." And he goes, "Can I date your daughter?" And it's just it's the perfect amount of pause before he just goes, "No."
It's so good. It's so good. I also think her mother is great. She has this line in the beginning that's said in earnest that I really like, which is, Tula says, well, dad is the head of the household. She wants to go to college, right? And she's convinced her dad is going to say no. And she says,
the
dad
man
is the head of the household.
But the woman is the neck. She can turn the head any way she wants.
Yep.
Yeah. It feels like it's, obviously they're supposed to be antiquated and old school, but it's really sweet the way that she's like, I got
you. Yeah. I love it.
But that is a great moment at the table too. If only somebody could work at the store. And he's like, oh, bring this guy over from the dry cleaner and then you guys can be together. No, that won't work. And the way that they just give him a second to be like, Tula will go to the travel agency. I never thought of that. The way they described it too, I was like, this was Inception, a decade before Inception. They were like, we got to make him think it's his idea.
You know what's funny? That's coaching. Being like, oh, you have a hard time finding the time to meal prep. What do you think you could do instead if you don't have the time? Oh, yeah, maybe you can go to the store and buy things that are already prepped. That's a great idea. It's like,
what could you eat instead of a Twix?
Yeah. Oh, you're hungry? Okay, I understand why maybe you would go to the candy drawer at work, but is there another area of the kitchen that has something that maybe would be a better choice? It's like that's literally what it is. It's called motivational interviewing. It's the same thing. How do I make it feel like it was your idea? Now, there is something in this movie that I think is really funny and very well done that I thought to myself, okay, this feels a lot like the Birdcage. And that is how they depict the white people.
As just the most milquetoast motherfuckers in the world.
Just the most boring, uptight, like absolutely uncultured people. And you know what? In a lot of instances, that is exactly how they are. But yeah. I was like, this is exactly like in the Birdcage when her Callista Flockhart's parents are all uptight and not quite fitting in.
But they're even less full characters than Gene Hackman and Diane Wiest were. They are just there to like, oh, well, they're so ethnic and different.
Yes.
We're so white and boring. Yes.
Yeah. It's a bunt. First of all, I was like, who says that? It's a bunt cake. Like, why would you say bunt and not say the word cake?
Because we need to hear Lainey Kazan go, bunt. I fixed the cake. There's a fucking flour in it. Like, yeah, we need that. That works, It's
so good.
I do love the one joke they get to make. During the wedding, when the dad finally gets to hit one punchline, and I could tell the actor was just waiting for it when he gets to hit the fake wife with, "It's all Greek to me," and he's like, "Ah,"
I like the toast that the father makes at the wedding where he describes he's really big into teaching you how every word is Greek in origin. And so he says that Miller is Greek, comes from the word for apple, and so they're apples and oranges because their last name Portocalis is Greek for orange. And we're just apples and oranges, but we're all fruit. I just thought that was really sweet.
But in the end, we all fruit.
So sweet.
And we're currently recording this in Pride Month. And you know what? We all fruit.
We all fruit.
Yeah. And wait, who is it that says drag queens could get a few tips from those ants? Because I wrote that down as a good line, but I'm like, does Ian say that?
I think he does. Yeah.
Yes. That's he once in a while gets to say something, and you're like, good for you, John Corbett. Yeah. It's so weird that Joey Fatone is just there. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh yeah.
I love Joey Fatone. I love Joey Fatone to this day.
He just shows up. He's like, oh, there is on Practical Jokers. That's nice.
Yeah, he's really good friends with them.
He's very unproblematic. I heard a story. I'm trying to remember who was telling it. I think it might have been Nia Vardalos talking about him, where she was saying that he had some story. This is before Lance Bassett came out, that he was staying at Lance Bassett's house, and he like walked into the hallway or walked into Lance's room, and Lance's boyfriend was sitting on his lap or something. And Joey Fatone just threw his hands up and he was like, who cares? And he just walked away and never told anyone. And you're like, good guy, that Joey Fatone.
Nice. I think they knew he was gay the whole time. I think
we all knew
the band. Well, yeah.
Ricky Martin, gay?
Yeah. That shocked me to my core.
No.
Yes. I mean, listen, Latin men, it
No, I don't know what you're saying.
I'm just saying, like, there, it's a common misconception. Anyway, I think what's really interesting is Joey Fatone, obviously quite Italian, right? So he's playing this Greek guy, and it just kind of does go to show that, like, you can kind of be either one, right? Like Mediterranean, right?
It goes to show that while the movie is distinctly Greek, it could have worked for pretty much any ethnicity. And it's important to who the creator is to why they did this, because I'll get into it more in the facts. I actually have a lot of facts for this, that they at one point did want to change it from being Greek.
Interesting.
I also wrote down here, I really like the brother Nick and his relationship with Ian, where he like messes with him. I wrote down, say, Oraya Vizia. And it's so great the way that the actor who plays Nick each time goes, perfect, you got it, nailed it. And the way he goes, Oraya Vizia, and then you just get the subtitle of nice boobs, and they know, like, that's not Ian. Like, I don't know. I just found it really cute. It's such brotherly play.
Yeah. I think that upon watching this movie, I was struck by a similarity to another movie. And I'm interested to hear your take on this, because as the movie ended, I said to Corey, this feels a lot like the lesson. Yes, exactly. When John McClane, this feels a lot like the ending to, oddly enough, Grease, where the moral of the story is, if you just be who the person wants you to be by any means necessary, that you can be happy too. Like Sandy, well, for John Corbett, like, and quite frankly, Tula, because where do they end up in the end of the movie? They live in a house next door to their parents, taking their kid to Greek school. And it's like, if you just do what I want you to do, you can finally be happy.
I very much disagree. I see why you're saying it in a joking sense, but they say a line that perfectly dictates how this movie ends. Don't let your past dictate who you are, but let it be part of who you will become. And the whole point is those things were forced on her in a way that she hated, but she is keeping those traditions for her daughter while letting her have more of the freedom that she wishes she had had. You know what I mean? You can marry whoever you want, but you should learn the Greek tradition.
But what about John Corbett?
I think it's really nice. Converting, which apparently comes from her actual husband, who played Corbett's friend who was asked to be best man. That's Nia Vardalos' was her husband.
Oh, Trouble in Paradise?
Oh, they were married for 20-something years, but, no shame there, but they did divorce.
Okay.
But
He's been in other things, right? I recognize him.
yeah, he works. He's a character actor type of guy.
Yeah.
He wouldn't make the Mount Rushmore, but he's a character actor.
Yeah, for sure.
What was I going to say? He actually converted for her. And I think it's really nice. It's a sign of this is important to you. And it seems like a change that is not that important to him. He literally says to his parents at one point, yeah, we're going to do it in the Greek church. We don't care. We're not religious. She is. And I think that's a nice way of handling it. I think, honestly, that's how I would handle it, if I were in the same situation.
So, okay, I have a multitude of follow-up questions. Number one, would you convert?
I'm not talking about converting. I'm talking about I would have my wedding in a church if somebody else cared about that. But
but you wouldn't convert. Oh,
no,
shit.
Unless they can give me back my foreskin.
This is like, I have some gossip if you're willing to hear it.
Go on.
I know someone who is Greek like this, like very, very Greek, from a Greek family. And she got married to a non-Greek person, right? He converted for her.
A Zeno.
And what?
A Zeno.
Yeah. Yep,
which makes me, I kept thinking of Xenomorph from Alien. I was like, Tula is marrying Zeno. And I just pictured like the mouth coming out of the mouth.
That's really funny. So her parents sold their house for her wedding. It was the craziest wedding I'd ever been to. There were fireworks indoors, like those things that like shoot the sparklers. You know what I'm talking about?
Sounds pretty cool so far.
It was crazy. It was the biggest, most like insane wedding I have ever been to. So many people, huge family, whatever. He converted for this. Like 3 months later, they got a divorce. So here's my question. Do you think he converted back, or do you think he's just pretending it never happened? Like, if you converted to a different religion and then got a divorce, would you just hop back over to Judaism like you never left?
Yeah, I think you kind of just let it go.
Do you think that, like,
I think he divorced the religion as well.
Wow. Okay. But like, if you're I'm going to assume he's Catholic, right? I don't know. But if you're the Catholic priest, are you like, no, you can't just waltz back in here? Like,
no, I don't think that. I think they're just glad to have members of the congregation.
Damn. So you
put
don't
some
think
money on the plate, and we're all good.
You don't think he had to unconvert?
Say 5 Hail Marys and go fuck yourself. I don't know.
Wow. Okay, that's interesting. I've always wondered, like, is he just going to pretend it never happened, or is he like going back to religion?
Ixnay on the ikre.
Yeah, it's crazy to me. Anyway, I've thought about that weekly since I found out that it happened. Yeah, at least once a week, I'm like, damn, what did he do? Like, is he just Greek now?
I mean, technically, yeah. It's like changing your name too. It's like your name doesn't instant change back, but I guess you just roll with it,
That's true. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you can't be like, okay, well, I'm just going to pretend that my name is different. It's like, no, that's your name now. Like, you can change it if you want to, but you can't be like, all right, guys, go back to calling me my old name.
I just think that's more difficult because you've already gone through legal paperwork and it's on legal documents. Whereas the other thing is just like, those are beliefs. You can just change them. That if they're not firmly held, you can adapt your beliefs. I feel like I don't believe in anything. I believe whatever the situation necessitates.
Yeah. No, I get it. Okay. Yeah, that's fair. One thing that I was really, really grateful for was that all of these sort of like typical wedding issues where like they're talking about the invitations and there's somebody's name is wrong. Ian's mother's name is Harriet, but they have it on the invitation as Harry. There's the dresses that are picked out that Tula doesn't agree to, and all of this stuff that happens when there are essentially too many cooks in the kitchen. I was like, thank God that this was not my experience.
It's also one of those things that just from the movie standpoint, they could have made a bigger deal about too, and instead it's more of a punchline.
Yeah. Heads would have rolled if that were me.
Oh, in reality, I think anybody would have a problem with, I hate my bridesmaids' dresses. You've messed up the parents' the names of the father's parents on the invitation. Yeah, that would be a big deal. Rodney and Harry.
Yeah, yes, Rodney and Harry.
Yes, you know what I meant.
Yeah, but it was like wow, this is nice. There's crazy shit happening in the world.
It could be worse.
Yeah, I don't think I have a ton of other like really major opinions. I think I definitely see some resemblances between Sandy and Ian, but nevertheless, that's okay.
So should I get some big fat facts?
I'm I'm ready to hear them.
I want the truth!
Face the facts, ducks.
Facts have no place with an organized religion.
Also, I just realized this is the second big fat movie we've done. We did
What
Big
was the
Fat
first?
Liar. Now we're doing My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
Wow. All right. So everybody who is still listening who remembers what I said about Russell Crowe, you can apologize whenever you're ready.
Where did that come from?
Remember when people were upset that I said Russell Crowe was fat?
Big fat. He's
Yeah,
not just fat.
I didn't say he was big fat. I just said he was regular fat and people got upset.
We just have to find a third movie with big fat in the title so that we can
Let's
complete
do
the
it.
trilogy.
You know, there's like many big fat Greek movies.
There's 3. The last one was made like it was one of the movies that was coming back after the pandemic had already happened. But the
Surely.
second one I know made pretty good money too. It made like $90 million.
Oh my God, I was
like
going to say,
$18 million
surely like
budget.
nobody asked for that, right?
I think it still had a pretty good audience. She had said too, she was like, I would have done it a lot sooner. I just didn't want, I think she said she wanted to have a kid before she did a sequel. Yeah. Doesn't matter. I digress. Let's get to our ratings. On the tomato meter, it has a 76%, 97 fresh reviews, and 31 rotten, with an average rating of 6.8 out of 10, and an audience score of 73%, with an average score of 3.8 out of 5. On IMDb, it has a 6.6 out of 10. The movie released April 19th, 2002, with a budget of $5 million, and it grossed $369 million. Its first week, it opened in 20th place. Also in theaters, you could have seen The Scorpion King, The Rookie, Ice Age, and Clockstoppers.
Oh my God, that's a throwback.
The French Stewart movie you haven't thought about in 20 years. The critics' consensus, though it sometimes feels like a television sitcom, My Big Fat Greek Wedding is good-hearted, lovable, and delightfully eccentric, with a sharp script and the lead performance from Nia Vardalos. Roger Ebert gave the film 3 stars and said, warm-hearted in the way a movie can be when it knows its people inside out. Kirk Honeycutt from The Hollywood Reporter. It looks more like a film designed for the small screen, but like Tula, it has a good-natured personality. Jane Sumner from the Dallas Morning News. Sluggishly directed by episodic TV veteran Joel Swick, it's a sitcom. Put some Windex on that word. It's a sitcom without the snap crackle. Eleanor Ringel Carter from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. This is an affectionate and good-hearted movie that could have been a whole lot better and could have been a whole lot worse. That was a big sentence to say a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah.
Letterboxd reviews. Cameron Rudin. Any rom-com without the obligatory mid-movie breakup gets 5 stars.
Okay, yeah.
Arlo McLean. Mr. McLean. I had depression, but I put Windex on it, and it's all better now.
Aw, yay.
Jamie Carrick. John Corbett really made a career out of playing really nice men.
Yeah, he did.
And Nico Ramses. As someone of Greek heritage, this is my Black Panther.
That's amazing.
The movie is directed by Joel Zwick, who also directed 33 episodes of Laverne and Shirley, 100 episodes of Webster, 97 episodes of Full House, along with episodes of Shake It Up, Dog with a Blog, and Girl Meets World.
Wow.
He also did the Fat Albert movie and one other movie in 2004, but he has mostly directed TV. The screenplay is written by Nia Vardalos, who also wrote My Big Fat Greek Wedding 2 and 3, I Hate Valentine's Day, and Larry Crown. Starring Nia Vardalos as Tula Portokalis, who you may know from Meet Prince Charming, My Big Fat Greek Wedding 2 and 3, and Yumi in Tuscany. She's also a prosecutor on a few episodes of Law & Order SVU.
Good for her.
Michael Constantine as Gus Portokalis, who you may know from Thinner, The Juror, and Room 222. Lainey Kazan as Maria Portokalis, who you may know from You Don't Mess with the Zohan, Oy Vey, My Son is Gay, and Cheekly. John Corbett as Ian Miller, who you may know from Northern Exposure, United States of Terra, and most famously as Aiden on Sex and the City. Andrea Martin as Aunt Vula, and Joey Fatone as Angelo. The movie was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Original Screenplay, but it lost to Talk to Her.
What the hell is that?
I don't know. But are you ready for some fun facts?
Oh my God, I can't wait.
I want to give a lot of credit to the What Went Wrong podcast that I listened to, because they actually had a lot of these facts from reading like her autobiography and stuff like that. So where should I start here? So starting talking about Nia Vardalos here, she earned a scholarship from the Manitoba Theatre Company, which got her to attend Ryerson University in Toronto. It would require her to move. Only 27 people were chosen. Her dad at first was not accepting of her moving for this scholarship opportunity until she told him she was the only Greek accepted, and then he bragged to everyone he knew about it.
That's amazing.
She met her husband, Ian Gomez, Mike in the movie, when she moved to the United States and was at Second City in Chicago. He's Jewish and Puerto Rican and not Greek, but got baptized for her. An agent once asked Nia, "What are you, Latina?" She said she was Greek, and the agent said, "That's the problem. We'll change the spelling of the last part of your name from OS to EZ." Nia said, "I don't want to do that," and the agent dropped her.
Wow.
After writing My Big Fat Greek Wedding, she asked her managers what they thought, and they said, "You're an actress. Whoever told you could write a screenplay?" And she fired her managers.
Good for her.
So Nia Vardalos at this point decides to make it a one-woman show, and she was performing at the HBO Workspace in California, which was free of charge to use, but gave HBO first grabs without competition. None of the HBO executives showed up to her show since it was during a regime change at HBO. She starts advertising it at Greek restaurants, Greek festivals, and Greek churches. And eventually people start to show up and start selling out. And Rue McClanahan from the Golden Girls shows up. So it's sort of the opportunity she's been waiting for. Rue's assistant tells Nia that Rue loved the show and wants to have her over for dinner and wants suggestions on throwing a Greek dinner and what to buy the night of. Nia and her husband, Ian Gomez, come, and Rue's assistant leads them to the kitchen. They had been invited to cook dinner. Being polite, Nia gets through the night, cooks dinner for these women. And at the end, Rue McClanahan tells her to wait up, which gives Nia Vardalos one last piece of hope that maybe she's now going to talk to her about the play, and asks her to give Estelle Getty, Sophia from the Golden Girls, a ride home, which they did.
Oh my God.
So she hits another dead end, but the show is doing well, and production companies are starting to be interested in the screenplay, but they do not want Nia. They're talking about changing it to a Hispanic family with J-Lo or an Italian family with Marissa Tomei. She's even offered $50,000 for the rights to the screenplay and turns it down. So she decides to spend $500 on an ad in the LA Times, which is a 2-inch by 2-inch teeny tiny little ad. And Greek actress Margarita Ibrahimov sees this ad and decides to go to the show. Now, she's better known as Rita Wilson, the wife of Tom Hanks.
Oh my God.
So she had been going to all this New York theater, and she was like, I should check out some LA theater too, to scout some more stuff. She goes to the show, and she met with her saying this would be an amazing movie. And Nia immediately said, I have a script. Rita Wilson sent Tom Hanks to see the show at the next showing, and eventually Playtone, which is Tom Hanks' production company, helped to produce the movie.
I remember seeing them credited as producers in the beginning.
So that was a big fun fact about how we get to this point with things.
Wow.
So I'm going to give you some other fun facts now. So when Tom Hanks first calls Nia Vardalos to talk about getting a movie made, Nia had told her friends that Tom Hanks came to the show, and her friends started calling pretending to be Tom Hanks. So when Tom Hanks actually called, she was like, fuck off. Tom Hanks was like, I'm really Tom Hanks. And she was like, oh my God.
That's insane.
According to Nia Vardalos, paying for catering during the film proved not to be a problem. Wherever they were filming, local Greek restaurants learned about it and sent over lots of free food. The scene where Andrea Martin, the Aunt Vula, playfully grabs John Corbett's hair was ad-libbed. Martin had forgotten her lines, played with Corbett's hair, to which Corbett stayed in character playing along, remembered her lines, and continued. Nia said it worked out so well they decided to print the take and use it.
That's amazing.
The opening scene where Nia Vardalos and Michael Constantine travel in the early morning to open the restaurant was one of the last scenes filmed. Vardalos said all the other cast members had finished their scenes and had left, so the sadness she and Constantine displayed in the car scene reflected the tearful goodbyes they had said. Every guest on the bride's side at the wedding are members of Nia Vardalos' actual family. The movie had one of the longest theatrical runs for a film in the home video era, playing for 52 weeks, of which 28 were in wide release, more than 600 theaters. For reference, it played 11 weeks longer than Titanic, the highest grossing domestic release at the time.
Holy shit.
Despite its status as a small independent film, and despite never holding the #1 spot at the American box office, the movie went on to earn almost $369 million, a return over 61 times its, they say, $6 million inflation-adjusted budget. The song playing at the wedding reception, All My Only Dreams, first appeared in That Thing You Do, written, directed, and produced by Tom Hanks, who also produced this film. To this day, this is still the highest grossing romantic comedy of all time, according to the top 10 list from Box Office Mojo. The rest of the top 10 is What Women Want, Hitch, There's Something About Mary, Pretty Woman, The Proposal, Sex and the City, Runaway Bride, Knocked Up, and As Good as It Gets.
Wow.
In the reception scene, Nia Vardalos' parents, the real-life Gus and Maria, can be seen several times. First, at the very beginning of the scene, they are the only ones greeting and congratulating Tula and Ian. Later, you can see them sitting at a table during the father of the bride speech with Taki and the other family. Maria and Gus return to this table after the speech and sit next to their character inspirations.
Aw.
And then I've got a couple more here. Nia Vardalos was nominated for Breakthrough Female Performance at the 2003 MTV Movie and TV Awards. She lost to Jennifer Garner for Daredevil.
Oh, God.
It just feels like maybe we need a separate category for these two. These are very different types of performances.
Yeah.
At the Golden Schmoes Awards, it won Biggest Surprise of the Year and Most Overrated Movie of the Year.
Oh.
It feels like that shouldn't go to the same movie.
Yeah.
At the Teen Choice Awards, Michael Constantine, who played Gus, was nominated for Choice Hissy Fit, but he lost to Adam Sandler in Anger Management.
Ah, come on.
And I have one last fact for you here. Joey Fatone, who I assumed was NSYNC done by this time? And he was like, let me see if I can get some acting roles. He recorded his scenes while they were recording the Celebrity album with NSYNC.
Yep.
Also, I will say one last thing. This was one of the top 10 grossing films of 2002. So I'm going to give you the other ones. Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, Spider-Man, Star Wars Attack the Clones, Men in Black 2, Die Another Day, Signs, Ice Age, My Big Fat Greek Wedding, and Minority Report. The next lowest budget in the top 10 is Signs with a $70 million budget. So I think it's a pretty incredible independent film story.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's all the facts I got. Should we get to some big fat mail?
Please.
Mail time! When you control the mail, you control information.
Mom asked me to ask you if there's any mail for us here by mistake.
What?
Okay, we will start with a few comments we have. First on our better villain, Lord Farquaad versus Fairy Godmother. Stephen Manny said, so basically Farquaad is a living MacGuffin, which I feel like goes with Kyle saying that he had no impact on the story, even though he's the impetus for the entire story.
I don't understand the reference.
A MacGuffin is an item. Like in Indiana Jones, it's basically whatever that item he needs in that movie is the MacGuffin. It sort of serves as, this is a plot device for the story.
I understand. Okay, sure.
Yeah, like the Maltese Falcon is a famous MacGuffin, or Rosebud from Citizen Kane, because these are just things that it's like, it's a purpose.
Yeah.
You were so heated at Kyle then.
I still feel heated at Kyle.
I feel like I reactivated something in you.
Don't come on my podcast and tell me my opinion is wrong.
Yeah, that's what we do to each other every other week.
Well, yeah, but we're related. I've known you my whole life.
True. Then we have another comment from 10 Bells. It's the Fairy Godmother. Lord Farquaad is just more memeable.
Okay, I think that's fair.
And then we have a comment here from Audrey on Spotify who said, Shrek 2 has more than Shrek 1, but it feels less. Fairy Godmother impacts me less than Rumpelstiltskin, and Shrek 4 sucks. She'd be good as a seasoned villain, or if they could swing it like Hans in Frozen. I like her better in the third, but she feels a bit wasted in 2. In the third?
I don't know. I thought she never came back.
I don't think she did either. Shrek the Third. I'm Googling. She does not physically appear in Shrek the Third as she died in the previous film. She is a posthumous presence as her death drives the plot for Prince Charming to try and take revenge. Yeah, that I remember.
Oh, okay. I vaguely remember this too.
Prince Charming's the bad guy.
Yeah, she's
Okay.
like a force spirit, basically.
She's the Obi-Wan to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Then we have one more piece of mail from our Canadian correspondent who sent in mail about Shrek 2.
Insane, but okay.
I thoroughly enjoyed you two clearly listening to my crazy, stupid love thoughts and on bated breath waiting for a question. And because you missed it so much, we're going to do a little temporal anomaly here because I know that I'm on this episode, but I'm going to ask you the question through the mail, having known that I've asked you this, but you won't know until you listen it into the mail segment, which is Shrek 2 is a massive improvement on the original. Now, while the original is regarded very well, Shrek 2 is regarded as maybe one of the best animated sequels ever for improving on the original, expanding the world, and really adding to the lore of the universe. And my question is, what sequels do you think do that? The common statement is it needs to be bigger and better. And usually that winds up being underwhelming and you get a sequel that doesn't feel as rewarding as the original. So what sequels, in your opinion, very quickly, are easily better than the original film? Bye, guys.
So I want to start by saying, don't you love Terminator 2?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That was your obvious answer. Yes.
Yeah, my answer is Dylan loves Terminator 2.
I would go with Terminator 2. I would go with Aliens over the original Alien to me because it does go bigger and it still works. I don't think you've seen any of these, but Army of Darkness I would put over Evil Dead 1 and 2. I'm trying to think of other sequels off the top of my head, but those three are the obvious ones for me.
Let me ask you this. How do you feel about The Empire Strikes Back as a sequel?
Oh, I would agree with that. I think that's better than the original.
Yeah, I think it's so hard to say, right? Because you have to imagine that Lucas knew what he was doing when he did it. So it's like, is it a sequel, right? Like, does it qualify if it's really like a part 2? But I think for this purpose, it definitely expands the universe. It goes bigger. I think sequentially, right? Even like Return of the Jedi, again, bigger universe. We've got more characters. We've got more planets. We've got more like.
Yeah,
great.
Return of the Jedi probably isn't as good as the first two, but it's still like a very successful landing of the plane.
Which one were we introduced to Lando Calrissian? Is that
5?
Okay, so that is Return
that's
of
where
the
he
Jedi.
betrays them in Cloud City.
Yeah. Destin, right?
Bespin.
What is it?
Bespin. This deal keeps getting worse and worse.
Yeah. I do love Lando Calrissian. So I think anyway, I prefer Empire Strikes Back over if I had to pick like one of the three. I think for me it would go Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, A New Hope.
I think Empire Strikes Back, A New Hope, Return of the Jedi for me. I would also say, to keep it Star Wars, I think Revenge of the Sith is way better than Episode 1 and Episode 2.
You know, I have to be honest with you, I haven't watched those in so long that it's hard for me to have an opinion.
Me either. And I feel like people keep trying to say like, no, guys, they're actually really good. And I'm like, you're not going to trick me into wasting 9 hours.
Yeah. If you were let's say you had somebody in your life who had never seen Star Wars, would you have them watch it 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, or would you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Like, how would you attack this?
I honestly, like, I know people who have never seen Star Wars and they're like, it's just too daunting to even start now. And I say to people, I'm like, just watch 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do. I know there's too many shows now. There's too many movies. And honestly, you could watch 1, 2, and 3 because it still feels like George Lucas. Like, it feels like one creator's vision. Whereas episode 7, 8, and 9 do start to feel too like, here's what we got to do. Corporate says this is the best way to do it. And I still think episode 8 is the best one of those. The Rian Johnson one, The Last Jedi. And I know people hated it. And I was like, this one feels like somebody had an actual idea going into it, and honestly feels like it could have ended the whole thing.
Yeah. You and I have talked about this offline so many times because I want to get into the Star Wars universe, but let me say this for the listener. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I mean, on our podcast, I want to open up the door to the Star Wars universe, but it's like, which movie do you pick? What do you talk about? Like, how do you talk about it without talking about all of the others? So we talked about potentially doing the Solo movie to kind of talk about like did Han shoot first and like that whole thing. But it is daunting.
Because this was initially presented to me as like, what if we just do the whole trilogy in one episode? And I'm like, no, too much work for Dylan.
No, because here's the thing. If we were to sit down, first of all, you've seen 4, 5, and 6 so many times that you don't really have to sit down and watch it like a crazy person. I mean, I guess you do the facts and I just show up.
The movie that we are recording today, sneak preview for the next episode, we're doing Obsession. I had seen it in the theaters weeks before you wanted to do it, but I went and rewatched it again anyway.
At home or in the movies?
At home. It was available at home. I watched it at home.
Okay. Wow. We'll talk about that on
we'll talk about that in that episode. Yeah.
Yeah, but I do think it would not be as daunting as you think. And I think the listeners, let us know. Do you think that it would be fun to listen to us talk about one episode of us doing 4, 5, and 6?
Or us doing Solo, which I don't think either one of us has ever seen.
I saw Solo in the movie theaters.
Oh, shit. I never saw Solo. Okay.
I saw it once. I don't know. I don't remember it. I really don't remember 1, 2, 3. Oh. And I don't remember Rogue One or The Last Jedi, or what was the other one?
Episode 7 is The Force Awakens. Episode 8, The Last Jedi. Episode 9 is Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah. I saw all 3 of them in the movie theaters, but I don't really remember them because I only saw it the one time.
Same, and I hated episode 9.
Oh, I cried during all of them. I love them all.
No, I watched episode 9 and I was like, this is a mess.
You know what you need to do? You got to get your ass to Disney and you got to get on the ride.
Yeah, that'll make you feel better about the pool showing of the.
Dude.
We're getting so far away from what this mail segment should be, Gab. We can talk about this later.
Last thing I want to say, I've never seen this, but I do think that fans of the series would agree that the Fast and Furious sequels get bigger and better.
That's a good point. I've heard. I think everybody I've heard has said like the Fast 5 is like the best one. I think that's the one where they're like dragging a safe through the streets of some city. I saw one of those movies. I think it was Fate of the Furious, and I was like, what the fuck is this? I was like, how did you people drag me into this shit? Because it felt like I was watching like a weird video game world. I was like, we're just going to drive the car up the entire skyscraper. I was like, what do you mean? We'll take this car into space. I was like, how are you going to do that? Like,
I used to listen to this
was
podcast.
In space in a car.
I mean, and they're just like, yep, it's normal. And here's Ludacris. I used to listen to this podcast with Sal Vulcano and Brian Quinn called What Say You? And they would just talk about random shit. And it was so fun. I listened to it when I was training for the Keys 100. So I would go for like a 40-mile run and just listen to like 9 episodes of this podcast. And at one point, they sit down and watch every Fast and the Furious movie. And this was probably like 2015, 2016. So it wasn't like as many as there are now. But they watched all of them and recorded a podcast episode where they paused recording in between each watch. So they'd like watch 1, talk for like 10, 15 minutes. Watch 2, talk for like 10, 15 minutes, and did it over the course of a weekend. You can hear them just completely degrading into total like dissolution as the episode goes on, where they're just like, yep, driving again.
The irony, as you were talking about that, Gab, I was like, oh, that would be the way if we were going to do stories. I was like, we would pick a day where we watch them together, and in between each one, we talk about the movie.
Oh my God, that would be so fun. We should do it.
I'm going to hate it, aren't I? Or we could do that with the Die Hard sequels.
That would also be fucking dope.
Pulled that out of my ass. Maybe that'll convince you.
Oh my God. Okay, yeah, let's do that. Let's make a plan.
Okay.
Anyway, we've bored them long enough.
Yeah, mail segment. Thank you for helping us plan for the future. If you have any other ideas for the future, we'll take them into consideration. Let us know.
Yeah. Especially if they're like about jobs that we could have or ways we can invest our money better. Like they don't have to be movie related.
No, I'd really like that. If you just want to help me, if you're a wealthy donor and you want to adopt me, I would love that.
Yeah. If you have any life advice, not sorry. She put you into this situation.
Good point. She would do the same thing.
Yeah. Exactly.
Anyway, speaking of family, how about my let's get to those verdicts.
Do or do not. There is no try.
The guilty will be punished.
Sentence is death.
Well, considering this was my pick, I will go ahead and give my verdict first. So Admittedly, when I chose this movie, as I mentioned, I was looking for something wedding related, but it wasn't a for sure for me because I hadn't seen it in such a long time. But watching this movie, I did laugh out loud a couple of times. I was really enjoying the lightheartedness, right? As we mentioned, there was no B plot where there was a lot of heavy drama. It was just quite relatable, very silly. A movie about family and tradition and how frustrating the combination of the two can be in events like weddings and things like that. I had a great time. I really like this movie. I think that it is definitely a movie to watch before you die. Maybe not one of the most consequential films you'll ever see in your life, but certainly one that is enjoyable and worth the watch.
Yeah, I don't think I'd watched this movie since I was like 11 years old. And at the time, it's definitely not a movie I would show an 11-year-old. I thought it was fine at the time. I was a kid. So much of it was unrelatable to me. And I think rewatching it, I wasn't sure how I was going to feel. And I feel like it was such a fun, breezy watch the entire time. It's a delightful script. It moves at a clip. It never drags. And you've got a bunch of performances that are great. Michael Constantine as Gus is such a great character. Like I've been hearing in my head for the past week since I watched it, the past couple of days. No, like just the way he says that. One word is great to me. Why you want to leave me? Just like it's an adorable performance. Nia as Tula, whose name I do now remember, is great. Andrea Martin as Anvula is great. Lainey Kazan is great. I really don't have anything bad to say about the movie. It's definitely a movie to watch before you die for me. I would agree it's not, your life won't be changed by it, but I guarantee you a delightful 95 minutes or so.
Yeah. And I think it's also important to note that there's no gut-wrenching moment. It is genuinely just a happy watch. I think sometimes when we think about weddings or rom-coms, there's that obligatory, as mentioned in the Letterboxd review, breakup halfway where there's tears, and this is just it's silly from beginning to end. It's a good time.
Yeah, even the struggles, it's like we'll get past it because the struggles are more her with her family. It's never her and Ian are on the outs. I mean, as we discussed, it's a pretty delightful, digestible movie. It's almost, I don't want to call it cotton candy-esque, but it's sweet the whole time. It's candy.
Yeah, totally agree. And so many of the jokes really, really land.
Yes. I think cotton candy made me think of it. Have you seen the video of the raccoon washing the cotton candy and it disappears in the water?
Yes.
Oh, that
so
poor
sad.
Little guy. That's not important though, Gab.
I know. But what is important is I need to know, dear listener, if you converted for somebody to another religion and then that marriage didn't work out, would you unconvert or would you just pretend it didn't happen?
Would you get circumcised as an adult? That's the real question.
And then get uncircumcised when it didn't work out.
Yes, you'll use some sort of weight and pulley system.
Yeah. They've got to have it figured out. Modern medicine is amazing.
Well, now that we've let the viewers think on that, Gab, do you want to say the things we say at the end?
Yeah, let's do it. So if you want to answer our question, our burning question, you can do so by emailing us at movies-to-watch-before-you-die@gmail.com. You can send us an email, a voice note, a drawing of sorts. We're always looking for fun stuff from our listeners. Second, in the link tree below, you're going to find a link to our friends at the Hall of Pods podcasting network, as well as some other links to things like my Venmo, if you want to send me $1 or $2. It all
She's
helps.
Getting married.
Get married.
If you see her on the street, throw some coins at her.
Please don't. What else do we say? We have a store with merch, so you can rep your favorite podcast wherever you go, and some other stuff. I don't know. Just look. It's fine. And lastly, do yourself a favor. Okay. Here are my top 3 recommendations. Number 1, don't get anybody's name tattooed on you. Okay. Number 2, don't convert to a different religion. You're probably just going to have to deal with converting back at some point. And lastly,
did you freeze or you just didn't deep thought? Lastly, never name how many things you're going to say before you think of them.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Goodbye.
How are we supposed to know what's going on?
It's all Greek to me.